wow, this is the one I am excited for. Welcome back to PlayStation Live at E3. Now, I think there's quite a few people here and maybe watching at home want to see a little bit of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I have brought the best team possible. I have Brian, Jacinda, and Adam. And of course, my teammate Rob on the end.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah.
This can go down now.
That's okay.
Now I storm off. That'll be fine.
Right. What are we seeing today? Because we're going to see a little bit of gameplay.
Yeah, so last night at the press conference, we showed off Raft. We showed, people wanted to see a new villain, so we said one wasn't enough. We just wanted to show like 3 or 4 new ones. And, the news is out. There's been a Raft jailbreak.
Amazing.
If you're at E3, you can go pick one of these up. Exactly. There's a big news day.
Oh,
but
mate, the world's in trouble.
we figured it wasn't, to have one demo wasn't enough for E3, so we decided to bring another demo, and we're going to show off the open world today to you guys.
Should we just get into it instead
Jump
of?
into it.
Let's just jump into it. Let's see the gameplay. Right. This is not what we saw at the conference. So where are we? Like, what's happening?
So what we showed last night was one of our main story missions, right? And that's, obviously a big tie to our main story, what's happening with Peter. But a big part of being the fantasy of being Spider-Man is to swing around New York City. And we're going to deliver that big time. We create our biggest open world we've ever made. And in between our missions, our main missions, you can do a bunch of different open world activities, crimes, collectibles, quests, everything, and really fulfill that Spider-Man experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you handle that transition between huge open world traversal, which is so crucial to the Spider-Man experience, and it's on a massive scale, but then transitioning from that into the combat, which is quite focused and close? Like, what challenges do you have to overcome in that transition there?
It's really hard. But I'll let Ryan, because he's a lot smarter than me, answer it.
Well, I don't know. It actually depends a lot on our animation team.
Right.
Like our animation team does this so much for our transitions and missions, either getting into them or even just beats in the mission, right, between a combat setup and the next traversal challenge. So a lot of animation, a lot of design work goes into that too, making some of our levels designed so that you can load into them smoothly.
Spider-Man,
I mean, this is what I'm here for. Oh.
Look at that.
Traversal is so, how did you approach this? Because this is what everyone wants, isn't it? That experience of swinging through New York with Spider-Man. It's such an iconic and crucial facet of feeling like you're Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was the first thing we started working on. Immediately once we got this project going, started working on traversal. We knew it had to be physics-based. It had to start with webs attaching to buildings. So that was super, super important. From there, it was just finding what felt right. Making sure that we were helping the player get around things and over things in a really fast and acrobatic way. Making sure that all the animations that connect you, again, are looking amazing. And yeah, it just took a ton of work to find all the different places and things that you wanted to do, like the fire escapes that Jacinda's team needed on the buildings. We didn't have those initially, right? It's just square buildings because it's a test level, right? But then once we looked at what does New York actually look like, there had to be fire escapes.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the challenges that we had, that we wanted to make sure that it's like a superhero playground.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to traverse on the ceilings, like walls, the ground. So if you guys play a demo, you should definitely check it out, because every single square foot of New York City is traversable.
Fantastic. And how did you strike that balance between first creating a New York that is authentic and looks like New York, but at the same time, I guess you've got to make it a place that is fun for Spider-Man to move around. So did you take any artistic liberties with certain places just to make them more fun to swing through? And
For the most part, it's fairly accurate to what New York City would actually be. We actually did make some buildings a little bit taller, because you do need a certain amount of height to swing from a building. But because we actually have web attachments, like for example, you can actually swing through Central Park, the trees are a little bit higher, and there's probably a lot more trees than you would expect. But that's how we made the city a little bit more easy to traverse.
Awesome.
What about bringing Spider-Man to life? Because even on the streets, the movements, we get a little bit of this, a little bit of a joke.
Yeah, so when we started working on this project, one thing we talked about was we wanted, New York is a character for us, right? It's its own character, and part of that is how lively it is. We want to have a lot of cars, a lot of vehicles, a lot of people, but it'd be weird if he just didn't interact with them. So, he can, instead of punching them, he'll like salute or wave, and then some characters you can actually interact with, like we can do high fives, we
really?
can take a little selfie with them and everything. So,
That's so
yeah,
cool.
I mean, we want it to be even though he swings a lot, there are going to be players who are going to go down the ground, and we want to have opportunities where you can interact with the NPCs. They'll also like run away if there's a crime nearby. They'll sometimes clap and be happy when you succeed. It's just one of those things that's, like I said, New York was really important for us to get right. Not only just the look and the feel, but also just how alive it is.
Yeah. This is just fantastic. It's like, this is what everyone's Rob hasn't stopped talking about. This is what I've always wanted. I just want to swing around. But now I'm like, maybe I just want to be on the ground.
It's been a dream project for a lot of us in Insomniac. So to see it, I just want to grab a controller and play it on your process.
So do I, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's just this screen is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think it is being played live at the moment. It's just,
Yeah.
we just wanted you guys to be able to tell us all about the game instead.
Yeah, it's I mean, and this is like I said, one thing about this is like Adam just completed what we call a Fisk base. There's a bunch of these different Fisk installments out in the city, and as you complete these open world activities, you'll earn these tokens, and you can spend the tokens to customize your Spider-Man. We always want you to be the Spider-Man that you want to be, so you can unlock new suits, new suit powers, suit mods, new gadgets, and upgrade those along the way. So.
Can we get some examples?
Sure. So you see the little icon in the top right-hand corner is called the Web Blossom.
Yep.
So that's actually a suit power that you can unlock. And do you remember in the first combat room from Raft, he does that big twirly thing and the webs go everywhere?
Yeah.
That's the Web Blossom. It's like a super move.
Oh, cool.
And most of the suits actually come with a suit power, and you actually can mix and match them. So say if you like our noir suit, but you want Web Blossom, you can take that and place it on there, or, whatever the Iron Spider suit comes with, you could take that and place it on there. So.
Can you change on the fly, or do you have to go to?
You have to go to the menu to change it, but and then now, like for example, he has this web shooter attached. You can upgrade the web shooter to have more shots, faster reload, and then same thing for a bunch of our gadgets. And look at that New York City.
I was like, behold the power of the PS4.
Yeah, I mean,
It's right there.
I mean,
What was this? An applause from the audience.
Good job.
That is incredible.
yeah, it's by far the biggest game we've ever made, and
Yeah, that's still a guilty pleasure of mine because I like to just climb to the highest buildings and just do a swan dive.
yeah.
Wow.
It feels awesome.
Yeah, so they're actually playing. The demo is actually only a very small portion of the playable area in the city. So we have multiple districts, and this is really basically one district with maybe a couple corners of others. But it's a massive world.
And so how do you bring a massive world to life with activities then? Because, okay, swinging around is fun, but we want to do stuff in that world too.
Brian, I'm sending all the hard ones to him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. We have a lot of different activities that are in the world. In this demo, there's actually our research stations. Everything comes with a story reason for it. There's also our dynamic crime system. There's that Web Blossom we were talking about. You can see they're stuck in there now inside that little coven. So the dynamic crime system is there all the time. And so you actually earn the tokens through that and then put those back in your upgrades. And then as you go through the story, different other activities unlock across the world.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the cool things about the city is that it's constantly evolving,
Yeah.
The citizens evolve, the activities evolve as the story evolves.
She's actually pointing
So
out
another
something.
thing is actually,
Yeah.
at certain points, they'll actually, the people in the world will actually point out things that you can do, like they pointed to an activity in the world. So
Off you go.
off you go.
And what can you tell us about? We saw a whole bunch of villains in their trailer yesterday.
The
They
villains.
just kept coming. So what can you tell us about the villains we're going to be fighting?
So back at E3 last year, we revealed Mr. Negative, and he plays a pretty big role in the game. And he's a relative newcomer, right? But it's a superhero game. We got to have supervillains. And back at like I said, people were like, well, I hope we introduce one new villain. And I was like, that's not enough. And over the last 8 years, he's locked up many villains: Rhino, Electro, Vulture, Scorpion. And again, we've been saying, not only is Peter going to be pushed more emotionally than ever before, but same physically. So it's just, when you have a Sinister Six, we thought that would be a pretty good test for a 23-year-old Peter.
And we saw someone mysterious arriving at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, so I figure I'll just spoil it for everybody right now. Now. Forget about September 7th, just spoil it now. Nah, well, it's, there is a leader, and that person was teased, and when you play the game on September 7th, you'll figure out who it is.
And how do you strike that balance between making a game for people who like the Spider-Man movies, maybe they're fans of the MCU, and then you've got the fans who have been reading the Spider-Man comics for years and years and years and years. What have you put in the game for them that they can explore in terms of lore? And how do you strike that balance making a Spider-Man game for everyone?
Do you guys want me to answer that?
Go for it, Brian.
Okay. All right. I think what makes the Marvel movies so popular is that they don't just they're so accessible to people who aren't the hardest core fans, right? So we worked really hard with whether it's design, art, character, UI, to make sure, and the story, to make sure that we're educating people who Yuri Watanabe is, even who Aunt May is, or Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. We want to make sure that whether it's actually in the game, whether you're playing a mission, or even you're going through our UI, that we educate you on who these people are, because we can't assume that everybody knows the characters like we do, right? That's just unfair, because our job is to know who these characters are, right? But I think we want to make sure that it has a level of accessibility. I think everything we do, whether it's swinging, combat, upgrading his character, and then our story and our lore, there's a level of accessibility to it. We want as many people to play this as possible. Yeah. I think that's what the comics and the movies do really, really well.
Yeah, and I was going to say, too, like, in Marvel stories, like, first and foremost, all of the characters are human, right? Who just happen to have extraordinary things happen to them or happen to have extraordinary abilities. And that's what we're telling here. We're telling a human story. And I think that players who even, if they're not Spider-Man fans, will find this story very relatable. So,
I totally agree. Like, I think that was the biggest thing we said. As much as it's awesome superhero fantasy, it has to be a human story. And I think that we want it to be a great, interesting story, even if you didn't have the superhero. That's just, that's the layer we put on top. And it's, like I said, it's much of a Peter Parker story as it is a superhero, as a Spider-Man story.
I think the other thing is that we worked really close with Marvel to find out the identity of those characters, like really what defines that character, and then work from that in our universe. That's something Brian and Bill Roseman at Marvel worked on really long. Yeah,
the one thing to remember is this is not based on the movie, or it's not based on a particular comic story. It's our own Spider-Man universe, and the mantra was we want to respect the traditions of the franchise, but we also want to don't be afraid to mix things up. Yeah. So, like for example, in our world, up into this game, Wilson Fisk has been the big bad. Like it's all about taking down Wilson Fisk, and then once he's out, it opens the door to new threats. So. And the great thing working with Marvel is they've been so open to pretty much everything. And there's some really big things in the game that we haven't revealed yet that I think are going to surprise a lot of people, that they were like, they went for that. And people like Bill and Eric and Mike, they've been unbelievable collaborators on this, along with Sony.
And it's quite amazing that you've been given the freedom to create your own Spider-Man universe. Can you remember, like, I don't know if you can pinpoint a specific moment, but the first day you guys worked on this game and you knew you were going to be creating your own Spider-Man universe, what were the first ideas that came into your head?
I would say the first thing you do is you start to fanboy out. Originally, you're like, well, I want this character, and he's going to do this, and they're going to do that. And then the reality sets in that you have to make a Spider-Man game, and you get freaked out to the point of, like, there's so much, this character is beloved by so many people. And then you just break down what's really important about the character. There's so many people on the team that love the character. What are the common things we all love about him? And then it's just a really great collaboration between us, Sony, and Marvel. And also at the same time, I think that one thing I feel like in the last year or so that's really made this game feel really special is that it feels like an Insomniac game.
Right.
Like I remember reading an article a little while back about it was like the 8 things we want to see from Spider-Man, and one of them was I want to see Insomniac DNA part of it. So like, if you look at his suit powers, his gadgets, the humor, it feels like an Insomniac game. So I think it's one of the things I'm most proud of working on this. So again, it's all thanks to the team and all the work they do. They make it pretty special.
Let's talk a little bit about the combat since we're seeing it, because it's not just it's the way he's using the environment as well. We were ripping off car doors at one point. Now we're pulling like shells down on people. It's a really expansive fighting system.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
making him an acrobatic improviser was one of the first sort of touchstones of the combat system. Getting a lot of webs in there and using the environment were two key things. And it took us a while to get all the web action we could get, like the swing kick that Adam just did was something that we had to sort of discover along the way. But we found out the more webs you have, the more unique Spider-Man can feel. Getting him really acrobatic, so the dodging, the leaping, going into the air is another really important thing for Spider-Man that lets us. I love that one, sorry, a little air finisher there. And there's our weapon wheel. Bring that weapon wheel up, when we finally got that in the game, it was like, wow, that's an Insomniac. It feels like coming home as an Insomniac, you know?
Yeah.
We're seeing some of them in action now.
And like for us, our experience with Sunset Overdrive gave us a leg up on getting Traverse up and running. But for us, for combat, it was just something new. It was something we hadn't really done a big third-person action game like melee-based. So it took a little while, but I would say, a big hats off to the combat team because they really embraced the character, and whether it's the design, the gameplay programming team, the animation, and then just our character and rigging team, basically the entire studio.
Everybody.
Pretty much.
Everybody.
Really, that's the thing. One thing about Insomniac, it's such a collaborative team and effort,
So nice
and that
to hear.
it wouldn't be possible without stuff. So to finally see it all kind of gel and come together is pretty awesome. Like one of my favorite days at the studio was when we had pretty much everybody represented. We had UI there, everybody, and we were talking about different suit powers and different gadgets. And it was like, I remember walking out of there and telling Ted, our president and CEO, going, this is one of the best meetings I've been in 10 years of working at the company.
Wow.
So it's what makes Insomniac pretty special.
Then that's what goes back to what you said. It feels like your game,
Yeah.
and that's why.
Yeah.
That makes me hearing that just big old smile on my face.
Puts a smile on our face, too.
That's how it should do. I'm sorry, I'm just watching the
That's
I'm absolutely
okay. You're more than
mesmerized.
welcome to just watch.
I'm like,
We can
this-
shut up and just watch it.
I know.
Now, this has been absolutely incredible. I guess this was like a side mission we picked up?
Yeah, so basically this was an inner demon base that, so after you take down Wilson Fisk, a new gang comes into town, the Inner Demons, and they have different installments throughout, and basically what you're doing, you're clearing these things out, and after you complete it, you actually get currency that you can use to customize your Spider-Man. So you could use it to like unlock a new suit, an upgrade a gadget, or craft a new gadget, new suit mods, and I think it really, we realized really early as we showed the game early to people, the suits are really important to people, like
Yes.
really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
We've heard all the requests, and
You're like, yeah.
And Gavin, if you're out there,
Yeah.
thank you. Gavin's our lead character artist, and having that that carrot to kind of customize your Spider-Man how you want him to do. And the trait is that however you look in the like when you're playing, if you go to a cutscene, he's wearing that outfit. So
That's what I like.
yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah, I was
like.
going to say, it was kind of funny because there's a lot of really big Spider-Man fans on the character team. So then originally we're like, oh, maybe we'll just do a couple. And then just more and more Spider-Man skins kept showing up. Sometimes even without requests, right?
My favorite is so Gavin, our lead character artist, will maybe like a Saturday morning, and he'll just text me a picture of a work in progress suit, and he'll just do his "come on" like ... and then I'm emailing Marvel going, so ... and they usually give a thumbs up. So it's just all of us kind of fulfilling a dream that we've wanted for a long time. And when you see the other suits in the game, they look so damn good. Like just the materials and everything, just it's so good.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm most excited about, and I can't wait for fans to play the game and check out how many suits there are. People have been tweeting us forever and asking for all these suits, and I wish I could tell you what they were, but you guys are going to have your minds blown when you actually...
There's a lot of suits.
I mean, I would quite happily right now just take this demo and just see what I could find in it, but maybe I wouldn't get that lucky. It says focus bar full. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
Right.
So the focus bar is sort of represents out your flow in combat and traversal, and then you can use that for one of two things. You can either use it to instantly take down an enemy, or you can use it to heal. And so it's a little bit of risk reward in the gameplay system that lets your basically your performance determine how you want to succeed, right? So that's what you're doing, and you can actually build that up through like acrobatic combat, whether it's using webs, getting into the air, or actually doing cool traversal moves as well, swinging around the open world.
Rob hasn't taken his eyes off the screen. I don't think Rob doesn't realize he's on the stage anymore. He's just like Spider-Man.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
Can you climb to the top of the Freedom Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
Not in this
Not in
demo.
this
but-
demo,
yeah,
no.
it's on the other side of the city, but yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Empire State's in this.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
this
And also, you can go to
region.
you can go to
I think
Avengers
that's our
Tower as
tallest
well
one.
if you
Yeah.
want. or
You can climb
swing-
on anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pretty much. There's nothing you can't climb on.
Is the whole of New York like available right from the get-go? Can you swing around the whole?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, we send you to Fisk Tower pretty quickly. Like the game opens up with you getting basically an alert that, hey, we're going after Fisk right now. Get your butt here, and you start swinging toward it. Then you finish that mission, and the whole city's open to you.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's you can explore it from the
Fantastic.
pretty much the minute after you defeat Fisk.
Yeah, that's one of the things. There's so many things to do in the open world. It's super distracting.
Yeah.
So every time I play the game, I'm trying to test it
Yep.
or check out something, but then I get really, really distracted with the open world, and then I never get back to the golden path.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Like I've gotten to that point where we're coming to the end, right? We're looking at bugs, but there's times where you just like the swinging is so like calming and relaxing. It's a point where I say this, and this means a compliment. You almost take it for granted because it's so easy just to get in the flow of things, and it almost becomes like therapeutic. Like it's relaxing to swing through the city after a hard day of working. And you just
Are you
wanna
trying to
swing
say
around
making
New York
games
City.
is stressful, Brian?
Yeah, sometimes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like we will continue to work on Traversal till the producers tell us we can't work on it anymore.
Until that is it. Guys, it's got to ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about some of the colored beams of light we kind of see now and again on the map. I'm assuming they represent things that we can do, but what are those particular things?
Oh, the beams.
Yeah.
No, basically is you can go to you can hit pause and go look at the pause menu, right? But like we want to keep Spider-Man moving, so you basically just kind of ping the world, and your kind of visors gives you a view of all the activities in the area. So like the green represents one of Peter's old backpacks, and there's a collectible in there that kind of gives you a little bit more of the history of his 8 years of being Spider-Man. You'll see red is for the active crimes in the area, and then there's ones for bases, research stations. So research stations are these quests that you can go on, and the research stations are actually run by Harry Osborn, your best friend, who's out of town. And he's like, hey, Pete, can you swing by? You're a smart guy. But he doesn't know you're Spider-Man. So he just thinks you're this smart scientist who's going to solve these problems. But of course, we solve them as Spider-Man. So we have all these, and these are just a handful of the activities that you can do in the world.
So I just saw the high five, and I was
it's
like,
one of those
so
things, we just
cool.
like the beams are lighters kind of, we want you to be able to get where you want to go quickly without kind of stopping the game.
This is amazing. I'm a little worried that I think we're coming to the end of our time here on stage.
No, that's
And I'm not sure I want to do that. I just want to keep on watching the Traversal.
Well, it's playable
as
at the show, so, everyone can swing by.
It is. Rob, any final questions you'd like to ask the team?
Are there like any expert level traversal moves that you can unlock? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the parkour elements in there, looking for the water towers that you can zip through,
Yeah.
how you get through like the fire escapes, just kind of that. I think it's ways to use like your perch jump, all those extra little layers that they should be easy to execute, but once you kind of start chaining them together, you feel pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, you can unlock a few moves that the whole idea is to chain things together, both in combat and traversal. And so there's ones where you can chain the perch jump into a big spring and go really, really far. You can actually do that from the ground as well, so you can target, or spring out of the dive fall, go all the way around, and then spring really fast out of it.
amazing.
Keeping you moving is the main idea.
I feel like we were finishing it, but it's all kicking off now. Like
Oh,
now,
yeah, now you got to the shock.
Well, now we're gonna have to carry on, guys, because I need to see what happens here.
So I mean, this, like I said, we wanted to bring a lot of villains to E3. So this is actually the Shocker, who you meet early on in the game, and of course he.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're happy. Here's the Shocker for you, and Shocker is robbing a bank, so we got to take care of business.
Classic bad guy movie.
Exactly,
Don't rob
yeah.
a bank.
Yep.
Or banks in New York City.
It's a very fancy bank.
It's a very fancy bank. So this is what you call like a boss
Yeah,
battle?
this would be a boss encounter. So you actually, early on in the game, will run into Shocker. He actually ends up robbing somewhere else, and you actually chase him down, and eventually later on, he's trying to finish the job, and it's your job to stop him.
It looks.
And we'll have other villains that we haven't revealed yet as well.
Oh, you still haven't revealed more?
Yeah,
Even
'cause
after last night.
we didn't figure this would be enough, so we have again, it's like one of those things you need some great boss fights and a lot of villains to have that true superhero experience.
This is incredible. What do you think? Are we nearing the end of this boss fight, do you reckon?
Actually, it's going to probably go on for a little bit. It's one of the tougher things.
Well, I guess we will leave it
Well,
there.
people can come play it and finish it.
Well, not the people at home. That's
Oh, I'm sorry.
fair.
Well, I'm sure there's videos of it online.
Okay.
And we'll be doing our own probably live stream at the office, and we'll talk to you more about the game. So join into the Insomniac live stream. I think we're going to do one on Friday.
What's the URL for that? Just people can watch?
Just go to insomniacgames.com or go to the Insomniac Games Twitter feed, and I'm sure it's all there.
Cool. Any final closing words for people watching at home who are just so excited for Spider-Man? Anything you want to share with them?
I guess for me, like one of the things that I've loved doing on this game, just interacting with the fans. The fans have been absolutely so passionate and supportive as we've been creating this Spider-Man game. And I'm so excited that a lot of you guys are here today, and I hope you guys get a chance to check out the demo and obviously play the game when it comes out on September 7th.
Special shout out to the Spidey Squad.
Spidey
They are our.
Where's the Spidey
they're
Squad? Hands up.
They follow the game a lot, so thank you again for your guys' continued support.
Oh,
Yeah, I
guys.
mean, as excited as people are, we're excited to have the game out there and have it here at E3 playable.
Guys, thank you so much. Everybody, that is it from us on the Spider-Man panel. There's loads more content coming up, so if you're watching at home, please stay tuned. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much. You've made Rob's day. He is the happiest man in the world.
E3 is
Either
made.
way,
Beautiful.
please stay tuned. There's loads more coming up from PlayStation here at E3.